So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your latest in the Secrets of the Dam podcast. April 11th, very nice weather, very nice spring day in Woodstock, New Brunswick. Before we get started, we're looking at more than 20,000 page views on our Secrets of the Dam podcast site, which includes my TV, movie, and other columns. We really appreciate the support. A great majority of those are the Secrets of the Dam podcasts, which are also still available, talking about the characters of the Kirk, talking about Forbidden Dreams, talking about the process with our great voice actress Nora Aga. Just a reminder to everybody again, we are on Facebook, Secrets of the Damned. Jim is on Facebook at Jim A. Shaw. I'm on Facebook at JJ Carrier. River Valley Sun, the County ME, Brunswick News have articles on the book, including excerpts and little interviews with Jimmy. Again, we're hoping to get WAGM and maybe another video or network company to do a tour of the Broadway in Kirk, to give a visual tour of what the inspirations for the books are. And part of that process, we mentioned that last week. Today we're going to talk about the Kirk Cemetery, which had a big influence on Jimmy's series. And we're going to have pictures of the Kirk as part of the podcast to basically show what you would see if you did a walking tour of the Kirk. Now we have Jim this morning. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. How is everybody today?
Now Jim is going to describe a little bit about the Kirk. Now, Jim, can you tell a little bit of history about the Kirk Cemetery?
Well, the Kirk is a church that's outside of Woodstock. It's actually a Gaelic word, Kirk, which means church, and it's located out on a peninsula, which is an island connected by a landmass, and it's in the St. John River.
River Valley.
It was built in the 1800s, and it's had some vandalism done to it in the last couple of years. Jackasses. They stole the bell that was in the church. Here's a funny thing. I've been writing this story, like you folks all know. I've written the story on the Kirk for many years now. And all the time that I was writing the story for the Kirk, that little church has always been locked up tighter than a drum. And but I would always be going down there, walking around. Yeah, if you hear the noise, that's the dog wanting in. But
Want the dog back in?
No, he can stay
Okay.
out. It's a nice day.
Not a big supporter.
And so I would always be down there. I'd walk amongst the graveyards, looking at the tombstones, and just thinking, because I remember telling you people, that all you great people, that the church and the grounds always reminded me of like a castle against the darkness. It really is freaky when you go down there at night. It's surrounded by trees, and it's really, really dark, except where the church and the open area where the graveyard and the grounds are kind of lighted or lighter. So it always made me feel like it was a fortress against the darkness. So you're walking around down there. So I've been going down there for years, and then one day I took a couple fellas who had asked me, and I sometimes would do this for people. I'd write them in as characters, and I promised them I'd write them in the second book, which I did. But we were talking about the first book that day, and so I took them down to the Kirk to show them, And lo and behold, that day, of all the days I was down there, it must have been 1,000 times. Well, I'm exaggerating, but that's okay. I caught a fish pretty big too once. The church was wide open. The door was wide open. Nobody was around, but the church was wide open. Well, of course, I went in. I had to. That was quite interesting. If you go to the grounds to the Kirk, you will find, and this is in keeping with the novel, if you read the novel, then you already are acquainted with the grounds of the Kirk. But you literally do, if you come up by a river, you can come up to the bottom end of that island, peninsula, and it looks like there's a road, and it's an old road. It just kind of goes into the river and washes out. And I used that as that was the landing point. The second time the characters go to the Kirk, the climax of the whole story, that particular night is where they dock there, and then they walk up that area towards the Kirk. We've got pictures of walking up
Mhm.
towards the Kirk, and were you able to see it as you're going off into the grounds? I have visions this summer of doing a video tour, because I think we're going to switch these podcasts up to videos pretty soon. But when the weather turns nicer, of course. And I just want to go through the different places at the Kirk and read excerpts from the novel to orient you to person, place, and time, so to speak. That's it for the summer.
Because right now everything mostly in Carleton County is covered by 2 to 4 feet of snow, and for us to do a video right now, well, it doesn't do it justice. Probably second week of May, third week of May when you get some foliage, because at night these locations, Broadway and the Kirk, are very dramatic at night, because usually by June 21st is 10 o'clock at night when sunset, and especially the Kirk, because what I like about the Kirk, and Jim can back me up or talk a little bit more about it, the fact that the entrance, not too many cemeteries have an entrance area. The name of the cemetery is the Kirk, and
Right.
the entrance is an iron gate, and it says the Kirk on it. It's very dark, shadowish, very House of Hammer, because you know it's the Kirk Cemetery, because it says, it doesn't say the Kirk, but it says Kirk. It's quite dramatic.
The only thing is, during the movie set will have to change that out for a white picket fence,
Of course, yeah.
because that was integral
Yeah.
to the story. Yeah, like Jeff said, around here this time of year, we do live in the true north, strong and free. But I think sometimes Mother Nature goes to hell with that little joke and dumps a lot of snow onto us.
See, here when we have Easter celebrations, the kids have to walk over snowbanks to get to the hidden eggs. There was only one time I was down here as a journalist where by March 27th there was no snow. I think it was 2009 or whatever. But Jimmy, talk about the church building itself at the Kirk. What can people expect if they visit the grounds and see the building there?
Seriously, it doesn't even look like a church anymore.
That's what I was about to say.
It
What
looks
does it
like
look
a
like?
square little box,
Like a schoolhouse.
It looks just like the little schoolhouse on Little House. Of course, that was a church. Yeah, because once they stole the bell, whoever those guys were,
I think I know who they are, but that's another story.
they tore down the steeple, and it had what was once known as an open steeple. In other words, it was open to the elements, and then there was the bell, and someone would be up in there and ring the bell. Actually, I don't think people were even up in there. I think there was a rope affair that came down through the ceiling.
Old-fashioned Catholic people.
But anyway, yeah, it's full of history. I mean,
Some very
there's one thing that's
sorry,
very important about the Kirk, that the real life Kirk does not have a basement, but the fictional Kirk that I wrote does have a basement.
Now we know. That cemetery is a very many important families have members are buried there, similar to the Fort Meductic Church, because it's a very. But the graveyard itself is very scenic. People can, like, literally it's a resting area in more ways than one. In the parking area, Jim had mentioned, and I know that as well. They used to a place for romantic couples, like on Happy Days, Inspiration Point. People used to go there and kind of enjoy some quiet time. Whatever, and
Okay.
well, that's what we call it, quiet time,
Right.
contemplative time, listening to Christa Berg greatest hits, get their romance on.
There's one thing about the grounds of the Kirk that's in the novel that doesn't exist in real life. And then that's the cross that Peter appears at, the cross along the wood line. Would probably be added on the set, but it would be halfway down the middle. So when you go to the Kirk, you drive down this road, and it's driving down this road, and then all of a sudden you're out on the island part, and this little dirt road keeps going all the way down to the edge of the graveyard, and then there is a gate where you can drive out onto the graveyard. And I always envisioned the cross being partway down that partway down the field in the graveyard along the tree line.
You see most places in New Brunswick, probably like most places in Maine, across states in Canada, some of these graveyards are so iconic, and I give an example of what we're talking about. Jacket River St. Joseph's Parish has over 1,000 graves of veterans of the North Shore Regiment. And Battersers haunted graves down there. In Woodstock, Broadway, allegedly there's haunted areas of that place. St. John, Moncton, Shediac, Sussex. Graveyards are many things to many people. A place where you can visit your relatives for repose, for thought, like Jimmy said, be inspired. We want to take away the stigma of people with cemeteries. A lot of people don't like to say they like cemeteries. I do like cemeteries because there's a lot of history, and just walking and seeing the pictures of past relatives, past friends, past veterans, people that were important. You know how much Jim Morrison and other celebrity grave sites are visited, and that's good. But I think every graveyard has a purpose in a community's life, and that's what kind of the Kirk talks about. Jim is taking non-fiction elements and putting a fictional spin on it. But Jimmy, do you think that the Kirk should have more maintaining? Because I was talking to one of the reps for Meductic a couple of years ago, and he said he'd like to see more work done on the Kirk. Do you see maybe more groundskeeping or more something to keep it vibrant? Because it seemed that areas down there need some improvement. You've done some.
It's maintained on a regular basis.
Yeah. But some people said because when the steeple was stolen, you should have rebuilt.
Well, they don't have the congregation
congregation or population
to make up the money to replace that.
So
they need to set up some tremendously huge bear traps down in there.
Yeah, it's bear country, so.
For the two-legged kind that like to steal copper.
But if more direct route, if somebody wanted to visit a Kirk, what would he do?
To visit the Kirk?
Yeah, take the highway, like I said.
Well, if you come to Woodstock, you'd go to the intersection at the Grafton Bridge, and then you cross the bridge, which takes you across the St. John River. When you get across the bridge, you turn right on, I think it's the 105.
And then you're going to drive Jolly Farmers. So.
Yeah, go towards Jolly Farmers, which would be turning right. And when you go to Jolly Farmers, you're going to keep going 5 minutes past Jolly Farmers on the right-hand side, and you're going to see Kirk Cemetery Road, and that takes you right down into it.
We should have took a picture of the Kirk Cemetery Road sign. We forgot. We should have. But
yeah, that would have been a good idea.
We'll do it next time.
Remember, folks, it's not cool to steal copper, especially from churches.
Yeah. And as a former reporter for Campbellton Tribune, that goes to my friends in Beldoon who stole ball field lights and stole the fences and stole all kind of craziness. Also the electrobraid moose fence in Beldoon where he rolled up all the stuff. But that's neither here nor there. The thieves who do that, you know who you are and you're idiots. And you ever do that again, you're going to be more cursed.
Oh, I want to give a shout out. We got to give a shout out.
Shout outs this morning too. Thank you, Jimmy.
Cheyenne Morehouse.
Cheyenne, yes. We found some history the other day.
She got in contact with me. Yeah, well, okay. She got in contact with me probably quite a ways ago on my Facebook. But Facebook, for some reason, has changed its algorithms or format to where you don't get people you don't know's letters in your face. You have to look at a place called, and this goes to you, Daphne McKinney.
Message requests.
Yeah, you have to go to message requests, and then if you click on that, then they'll show you the letters that people write to you that aren't on your friends list. It's crazy, but anyway, I decided to go through that the other day, and bang, there was her saying that she wanted to know where she could get a hold of all the novels, and I said, well, gee, I apologize to not getting back to her sooner, and so I said, I'm going to send you a friend's request so you can access me when you want to. So after we got talking, I added her to the group, Secrets of the Dam, by the way, and she told me, I said, well, what book do you have? She said, well, I have the Vandenberg House, the second book. Well, all of a sudden I thought to myself, Vandenberg House, okay, which Vandenberg House did you get? Well, guess what? She ended up getting the dreaded...
first edition.
Right, the one where I got screwed over.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's the cool story about it. Although it's in one way it's not a bad thing. She found it in the bin at
River the Valley Food Bank.
Yeah, the place that we support so much. Anyway, the book was there, and she saw it, picked it up, and she said, I started reading it one afternoon, and I couldn't put it down, which I thought was pretty cool because I'm not exactly happy with even the way that book turned out. But anyway, and I said, well, gee, that's so cool. I said, I wonder if you might post that on Secrets of the Dam. She said, I certainly would. And of course, if you check on Secrets of the Dam Facebook page, she did. And she posted a picture of herself holding the book, well, her hand, to show me exactly which copy she had.
And for people that are still wondering how to get the book, Amazon, Kindle, Audible, the free 30 days. Anybody has any questions, message Jim A. Shaw on Facebook. Message me, JJ Carrier on Facebook, Secrets of the Damned. Or you can call me 506-272-1880, the number from my media center in Canterbury. But we want to thank everybody that's already bought the book, including the good supporters like Derek Hamilton, our actor friend in BC. We're hoping Derek will take on some aspects of the project as a mentor in the next couple of months. He's done a lot so far. Well, anybody out there, again, any person that wants to invest in our pilot appropriation, our script and stuff like that, we're open to any suggestions. We're going to do a crowdfunding down the road to allow people to give money towards the project. It's probably going to cost us $200,000 or a little bit more to get a pilot. We want to keep New Brunswick creators, New Brunswick producers, New Brunswick actors, everybody else involved in the project. No book author from Woodstock has even attempted a Gothic horror series 2 pilot stage. This is fresh ground. There is no New Brunswick tax credits like there were before. There's got to be like independent contractors, maybe through Nova Scotia and Alberta. Jim, you want to talk about a little bit of that, about what we're hoping to do with the pilot stage?
Well, before I start, I wanted to tell you,
Sure, go ahead.
There's a happy ending to Cheyenne.
Oh, sorry.
Morehouse stories. I'm going to track her down, and she's going to get her novel signed. And of
Anybody
course,
needs a novel signed, you know where to find us too. So free
That's
autographs,
right.
Yeah.
I have heard so many people who've read the novels tell me how visual they are, and that's kind of cool because when I write them, I know I've told you they're character driven, and the characters talk to me, but I also vividly see them scene by scene. I think our script guy is set, so I'm happy about that. Because what he interprets, I shouldn't say he, what that person interprets as the script is their artistic creativity, and I think that's great because I hope I'm as surprised as everyone else when the movie comes out. But as far as like for the pilot goes, what exactly do you mean by the pilot? The pilot is the whole movie, or the promo reel to get people interested?
Sometimes with Hollywood and Canada, to get a good production, you do a promo reel,
Like a
or
trailer.
like a pilot. No, like 5 minutes to 10 minutes, because
Well, if that's the
Derek
case,
taught me that. Derek Hamilton, by the way, little plug for Derek again. When he did Rabbit, that award-winning movie, the original promo reel was done 5 years ago. Okay. It wasn't exactly like the movie Rabbit, which is a great movie. Try to find it. It's perfect. One of the best Canadian movies of 2018. He basically, I taught from him like a 5 minute. Some of the major scenes were giving out too much of the plot, almost like a trailer. Even a pilot's going to cost a little bit of money because you got to film it, you got to act it, you got to script it. We're hoping that we have a 3-part series, either a mini series or a movie or something. Because with vampire fiction, it's a very, very in-depth process. Because if you remember, Twilight series, the House of Hammer movies, Frank Langella, Dracula, stuff like that. Francis Ford Coppola, was it Coppola that did the Dracula Redux with Keanu Reeves and
yes,
yeah, okay, it was Francis Ford Coppola. It's a very intense process because this is Gothic. There's period pieces, even with the book of the Kirk and Forbidden Dreams. It's not in modern day. You're into the 80s, 90s, 2000s. You got to have costumes that benefit the time. So we want to get enough of the money that we can reinvest. And basically, we're not going to make any money off it because, there's rights and music and stuff. And anybody who wants to look at doing a score for us, that might be something as well. We never talked about that.
Okay, now I'm on page with what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think for the promo,
Or pilot, or promo reel.
I can see the first book, the Kirk, being separated into 3 different distinct parts. I can mark them off in my mind. But for the promo, I think Nora's husband, when he and she
Good editor, Mike.
come out with the teaser for the Kirk audiobook, I think that whole segment where where Jack goes to the funeral home to get revenge on Merritt, and what happens to him as he carries out his dastardly plan in the dead of night. all vampire slayers are nuts, because they always attack a vampire at night. That's kind of silly, don't you think? Anyway, don't give me no grief
That's
about
every
it.
plot of every Dracula movie.
That's an unwritten law for some strange reason.
And then the sun comes up and burns a vampire. Do we remember that?
So I think not all vampires are afraid of the dark, though.
That's true.
Are afraid of the light. I think that would be the segment that I would want, because it gives you just a glimmer of what's going on, and it's like you get to look through a keyhole at a scene going on, but you don't get to see the whole scene, but just what the keyhole lets you get, and hopefully that will whet your imagination.
A Russell Stover sampler in vampiric Gothic horror form. Like Russell Stover, you get the 4 chocolates. That's what I was thinking, yeah. This is 4 Russell Stover chocolates to give you a taste of the whole box. But we want to tell everybody that the book itself is a great value. 11.5 hours audiobook for 25 American, great investment.
Or 31 Canadian.
Or 31 Canadian.
Well, no, but let's just set that aside. You're not paying that for the print book.
Yeah.
The print book's a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah, $2.99, $5.99.
No, they're not that.
Not
the
that
print
expensive.
book is $18.
$18. But you can buy used. Well, we're not telling people to buy used, but wherever you want to buy. So.
The audiobook, they do have promo on Audible,
Yeah.
where you can get Secrets of the Damned for free. If you don't download their driver for free, you have to. It's like a Netflix prescription.
And cancel if you don't want to.
Subscription.
You cancel if you don't want to re-up. Just remember that.
Right, but geez, man, if that's the platform of choice for me as I go forward.
And we're entering a new era of podcasting. You know what's going on. Podcasting has been very strong, but he said half of North America listens to podcasts now. So I think the timing is right, because he said radio was dead. This is just radio. It's like radio plays and radio presentations. People have more time to listen. They're not watching videos. They're not listening to music. Podcasts, people want to be more informed because it's a specialized thing. Not everybody's into Gothic horror, but with podcasts, it's specific stuff. And I'll give an example. My good friend, Devin Hannibal Nicholson, he's a podcaster, former Canadian pro wrestling champion, does a podcast. He does them video, but he talks to different people. That's a very heavy genre, but with Gothic horror, there's many, many podcasters out there talking about previous books, previous Gothic horror TV series, for breaking down stuff. The whole genre is quite important. But Jim, we're going to wrap up because I want to keep this less than half an hour, because we're going to Broadway in the next couple of days, the second one in the series. Jimmy, about the importance of people finding out about Secrets of the Damned when they come in. I know you're very welcoming to all the people that come in and talk about how they like the book. How important are new people to Secrets of the Damned? Because we don't talk about that.
Well, they're very important. The more people that know about it, the better.
Word of mouth is what we're saying.
Word of mouth, yeah. Grow the Facebook group if you want. Add people you think might like it.
Yeah.
They
You don't have
don't
to-
bite.
Yeah.
And to give you an example, just for those that haven't read it, you're not going to be inundated with F-bombs.
And very little bloody violence in print form.
Well, I can't say that.
Well, I mean, compared to others here.
It's not. Yes and no, but like I said, the characters are true to themselves. There's the odd character that does swear, but the only thing is I painfully struggled over what words to use, and let's just say some of them aren't Sunday school teachers, but they're not trash talking people that curse every other minute.
But the most important F word is Fiero.
Hey, that is an F word.
Yes.
Well, let's not forget that, folks.
The main F word, Fiero, but you'll have to read the book to hear how that F word is used many times.
All you Fiero nuts out there, and you've always wanted to see the Fiero on film or see the Fiero in print or whatever, the Fiero is very prominent in this story. Every character. Now, there's 2 characters in the series that I know of for sure that have Fieros, and they got them for entirely different reasons. But just like every person that ends up with one, Fieros are kind of like the Carl O'Keefe of beer. It's those who like it a lot, and those who don't, well, they can kiss my butt. That's a quote from the good old Jimmer. I added it for content, of course, because we try to keep this PG. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not a person that's prone to swearing anyway.
But the book is PG, by the way, pretty good. So
yeah, that's true. It's pretty
pretty good.
Actually, it's
pretty great. pretty good.
Yes,
PG. It's PG.
pretty great.
PG 100%. 100%. The book is speaks for itself. No pun intended. So Jimmy, thank you this morning. Part 2 of this unvirtual tours will be on the Broadway Cemetery and also the 2 houses that have motivated some of the.
Get active.
But oh yeah, sir.
I really enjoy interacting with folks who read the novels. They're really cool.
And if you don't like something, let us know, because good feedback, positive feedback, constructive feedback is good. And
and don't worry, if you criticize my writing, it won't bruise my ego in the least.
Listen, if anybody needs to track me down and learn more about this book, especially my boys in North Shore, Massachusetts, Ontario, this is a provincial project. We got North Shore and Carleton County working together on this. And everybody up home, don't forget, if you supported me in my journalism career, please support Jim, because I don't support crap.
Derek Hamilton, we're thinking about you, man.
Yeah.
We're in your corner.
Yeah, and Derek's a big Roberto Duran fan, and this ties into the end of this podcast. Duran always said, you got to start what you finish, and finish what you start, and that's what we're doing. We're starting.
Except the time he bailed on Sugar Ray Leonard.
Well, okay, but it was too many stakes, but that's another podcast altogether. He said if you'd have staked that big, no, a famous Ring magazine article, that's another story altogether. But put it this way, he when he knocked Ken Buchanan in the balls and after the bell and won the title, how many times you have to win a bout? Dirty. He won every bout kind of dirty, because he was a very, very good guy. And he'd be good in the movie, too. He'd be a good character in the character. So.
Another shout out to Nora. Keep up the good work, because I'm really enjoying
And Doug Ford is
book.
Satan. Doug Ford is Satan. Thank you very much. If you have people have trouble with that, go talk to Doug Ford, because I never made him Satan. He made himself. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.